very much. I want to start by saying thank you to Bob Newman, because he is the reason we're here. We are part of a group that was the Leadville Challenge, and a good friend of mine, Stephen McGee's little brother, Doug, was starting the group. Bob was in it, and he was the first gentleman I met on the team. And we had coffee at his place, and he said, you know, you should consider strategic connection. So with that, I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you, David. That was very nice of you. And the transformation for me was critical. I was at 17,800 feet when I realized I had my head way up my you-know-what. And what were my true priorities in life? And it certainly wasn't more money, more records, more accolades. And it was getting home to a pregnant wife and a recently adopted son. And I did that. Now, I won't stand up here before you and tell you that I honored all of those commitments, but I certainly honored 2 of the 3. And Brooks and Jackson, as you'll see later here, are the loves of my life. But to David's point, what I was recognizing is why am I really here? Who am I? What do I stand for? How do I really show up? How do I help the world? And it wasn't helping people buy and sell franchises. So I realized that what I was doing was I wasn't really selling. I was breaking records by terms of quantity. But when people asked me how I did it, I really got into my heart and my soul, and it was I was helping somebody buy something they want. That's all I was doing. But how do you do that? You do that through service. We talked about this, and again, Sarah, thank you, and Brooke and Mary Kay were gracious enough to allow the networking project to go on before, or the activity to go on before. So now we have the basis of today's conversation. We've talked about management or leadership, and to me it's a distinction. Distinction of the two that allows, which one of those do you think has room for service? That's a rhetorical question. Managers aren't in the service business. I believe leaders are. And what I'm here to do going forward is to make sure that leadership doesn't stop with just leadership. Leadership is going to be implemented with service. We're going to get out of the paradigm of he or she's on top as far as the leadership or the management role, and they're going to understand what's really important to them. By the way, before I go any further, I will tell you, in my humble opinion, the only way you know if you're a great leader or not is what the followers say about you. It's not how you doing. It's how am I doing? And you do it in a way that you care. You do it in a way that's safe. You get out of your office and you go and talk with people and say, how am I doing? It's an ongoing review of your leadership. And it's only done if you really care enough to ask. If you hear nothing else this morning, I just want you to ask yourself within your own organizations, how do you show up? Do you show up as a manager? Which isn't bad. It's necessary to manage process. They're detail-oriented. They focus on problem solving. They're very tactical. My way or the highway. Used to work. Sounds good in some organizations today, but not what's going on tomorrow. The millennials, with all that time, talent, and energy, do you think they're going to stand for any of what I've just mentioned? No, absolutely not. So if you're attracting, retaining, and training talent, and you're a manager, you'll get exactly what you deserve. And you can imagine what that is. They're forceful, they're organized to execute, they follow rules, and they're scientific. These are not my words. These are the words that came out of our conversation earlier this morning. And again, in my opinion, all true. Leadership. Motivational, inspiring, powerful, engaging. People. They focus on people. These focus on process. These focus on people. And that's what we're going to spend the rest of the time talking about, by the way. In my humble opinion, again, service leadership is always about developing people. It's not about you. Get yourself and your ego and your narcissism out of the way. Be a leader. Develop the people you care for, love for, and want to serve. It's pretty simple. If you want to. That's the key. They're passionate. They're enthusiastic. They're great communicators. They're excellent visionaries. Or they have vision. The right thing, integrity. We talked about it at our table, accountability, and we'll talk about an accountable circle perhaps for this group. By the way, today I'd like to not be all about Aden leadership. I just pretend for a second that we are an organization. We're all leaders of this great organization. We all have particular areas within the organization we're responsible for. Let's just say it's office, it's consulting, it's electrical, it's homes, it's flooring. You know, Nora and Susan and Diana and Bob aren't here, everything. But we have to come together and recognize how we truly serving each other within the organization. That's the secret of service leadership. A lot of people, when they read my stuff, there's, oh, another customer service guy. You're right. But the customer is inside your organization. The most important person inside your organization is the people that show up for you every day. They love you, they care for you, they want to serve you. So just give them back that same respect. It's nothing more difficult than the golden rule if you really think about it. It's not do unto others before they do it to you. It's treat people like you want to be treated. And you learn a lot about someone's integrity and the respect they have for themselves by how they treat the people in their organization. And this is my question for you. Do you currently lead with an element of selfless service? What do I mean by selfless? Would it be the opposite of selfish, perhaps? And if everybody could kind of either do this or envision it in your mind as we go about this, over here would be management. Over here would be leadership. And on my I am statement, I talk about moving in a northeastern direction. I'll just introduce that to you right now. I believe that moving right and moving up is very positive. Standing still in terms of the continuum of time, you can't do that. You will move forward no matter what, because the days of the week, the hours, the minutes, you can't just sit on the couch. So as you move from left to right normally, naturally, I'm asking you to consider yourself, are you here or here on this potential of management or leadership? Okay? Down here, again, down, just my opinion isn't positive, is selfish. And up here, selfless. Where are you today? Anybody? Jim? Joe? If you had to be deeply honest with yourself, and all of us, which by the way came out in the conversation this morning, is what's wrong with having open conversation about what's going on in an organization? How can you fix things if Sarah and I are only talking to each other, and then when we're not together, she's talking to Jamie about me? How about talk about Greg when Greg's around? Wouldn't that be great? Greg's going to learn, Jamie's going to be confident and proud and responsible for her feelings and her words that are going to help me be a better man, a better leader, better partner. If you want to go into the spouse and family thing. So anybody, where are you today? Being honest.
I'd like to think that I am moving right and slightly up.
Okay, where are you today? If you had to mark it, where would you be in this quadrant? You see this? You?
Yeah, right.
All right. Anybody else?
I'd say slightly closer to the center in that same quadrant.
Right here?
Yeah.
All right. Big Bob's right there. One more. Jim Johnson.
I think I'm a little north of Matt and north and west of Matt, but still in the same quadrant. North and west, left.
I'm sorry?
Yep.
Beautiful. Honest. Okay, so that's where we are today. No one wants to stay where they are today, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody happy with exactly where they are today? Your relationships, your money, your everything. So now ask yourself, where will you be? Not where do you want to be, but where will you be in 90 days? And if that's part of your plan, which I hope it is, or maybe it's this way, maybe Jim Johnson cannot be any more selfless. But perhaps he can focus a little bit more on some of these leadership attributes and that we mentioned here. By the way, are these skills, or these attitudes? Again, more or less a rhetorical question. I see this as skill-based, right? I see these as attitudes. These are how we show up. This is who we be. Is everyone familiar with the I am statement? Do you have one? Who you are, the essence of self. Bob, you've gone through this before. A wonderful exercise for you, and it includes asking 7 or 8 people in your life, how do I occur to you? your spouse, 2 good friends, 2 or 3 people you work with, maybe a relative that knows you really well, has grown up with you and seen you succeed over life. Ask those people, how do I occur to you? You'll get one of 2 things. What are you doing, Matt? Why is this important to you? Or when do you need it? Those are the only responses you want. If you get something from somebody, well, I don't have time yet. Jamie, you know I love you, you're beautiful, etc. No, I want to know, how do I occur to you? How do I show up? And then you have your list over here. This is who you are according to you. We'll go through that in just a second. And then you get this list from these people. It's an amazing exercise. Please do it. It might take 2 weeks, it might take 2 months. But you look at their list and your list and realize that who you are in your mind is one thing. How you occur to others is a whole different thing. So, the I am statement. Again, really powerful. Up here is God-given talents. You have these. You were born with them. No one can take them away. I'm inquisitive. That's one of my God-given talents. Passions. What am I truly passionate about? You can probably imagine one of them, what I'm doing. Down here, judgment and resentment. Not a happy topic, but I guarantee you guys, we all have that. We all resent something, we have judgment around something, and it just is in our craw. And mine is, I have resentment and judgment around people who can and they just won't. They lay on the couch and they wait and they do this. I don't care what their physical stature is, I'm just saying people who can and they won't. It just drives me nuts, and I own that. And if you hear my I am statement, I'd be happy to play it for you. It's 34 seconds. I listen to it every day. And I try and listen to it at night as well to see, am I that man I said I was going to be that day? And if not, I need to wake up the next morning and get it fixed. That's part of being in your integrity as well. Down here, what does society need? To me, what's your mission? Why are you really here? Who are you? But what are you going to do? What are you going to leave behind? What's your legacy? How will people remember you? To me, I think it's school and teachers and leaders need better information. They need to be better empowered, and they need to be able to do what they're supposed to do at school. I'm not talking about discipline. I'm talking about everything they need. Give them the tools and let them teach. High school, colleges specifically. I spend a lot of my time talking to colleges and schools, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Just what we're talking about today. I tell you what, if I was a 20 to 22-year-old guy, and I had someone come in and say the difference between management and leadership, talk a little bit about a financial plan Jim Davis does as well, which I think is a great gift to young men and women, what a great message that would be. Because I want them to know it's not about you, it's about everyone else if you're going to truly be a leader. So what's the circle? The circle is spirit. Could be higher spirit, could be Holy Spirit, it doesn't matter to me. But this is the inner stance. This is what you stand for. This is who you are. I am a passionate, compassionate man, driven, etc., etc., whatever it is for you. So this is what you have. You write down as much as you can in each quadrant. You step back. This is what I did. I had four flip chart pages, and I said, what really resonates? So I wrote it out as a statement. And then I recorded it. It took me 18 times to record it to where it wasn't, I was in my spirit when I spoke it versus in my ego, because the first few sounded like a Greg Aden commercial. It really did. And I'm sharing that with you authentically because that's not who I want to be. I want somebody to listen to that and say, yeah, that's great. That's who he is. So when you do that, if you'd like to share the Word document with me before you record it, I'd love to give you feedback, or if you just want to send me the voice recording, and everybody has an iPhone now, or whatever device, just record it and see what it sounds like. Play it back for your spouse or whoever you want to share it with. I won't go into the definition of service leadership, but if you could just throw out a couple ideas, we won't go to the group here, but what do you believe a definition of, now we have all these attributes for leadership, you add the element of service. How would that change your opinion on what leadership is if you add service to it? Think about servant leadership, if you will. Anybody?
Changes perspective. Somebody has the ability to have someone else's perspective and understand where they're coming from. Empathy.
Empathy, compassion, thoughtfulness, vulnerability. Yes, sir.
Well, I think we're fortunate here in Colorado in particular, but in the U.S., of being as well off as we generally are. So helping those who aren't as well off, whether it's they need something healthcare related, they need something financial services related, or whatever it might be. And I think Rotary does a lot of that. We'll talk about Rotary another day.
So I'm hearing serving is important, caring for another is important, right? Anybody else before we move on?
Greg, is your focus in that question, is it more internal to my organization or is it more external? Or is it both?
No, it's both. But if we, again, pretending that we were just talking about this organization, we don't need managers, we don't need management to run this particular group of 18, 20 of us. We're all leaders. It's mentioned to you in the very beginning of what SC is. But how do we add this element of service to each other? And that is to have empathy and to have compassion and to think about that other person first. Service leadership is servant first, leadership second. The emphasis isn't so much on leadership. It's on how we care, love, and serve another. And yes, love. I think it's care, love, and service. The highest thing you can do for someone up the ladder of consciousness is to serve them. And I'm not saying I'm in love with Bob Newman, but I love this guy.
I love you too.
We laugh, but you know what? If I didn't love Bob, so to speak, in a weird kind of way, which a few years ago, who stands up in front of a room and says, I love this guy? Well, I love Jamie too. I love David. But I love them, so I will serve them. That's the essence of service leadership.
Greg, to me, when I think about your question, it's about how can I make a difference in somebody's life? With whatever that is, wherever they're coming to me at this moment in time, I'm trying to get more in my head, how can I make a difference for you? Whatever that is. That's what I'm coming from.
I mean, honestly, how much more do you want from a person that has that approach for someone in their organization? And oh, by the way, he's the top person in this organization. And I'm sarcastic, a little dry with my sense of humor sometimes, but that's what I look for in organizations. It's not this, Matt was doing a build out, I believe, for a company, and he said, and when he got there, they had this piece of carpet, and on this side it was the executive wing, and on this side it wasn't, and you do not cross this carpet unless you had permission or had some, can you imagine?
No.
You can't imagine, today we couldn't imagine. And as a millennial, walking in and having this explained to you, and this is your interview, and somebody with time and money and energy and talents can say, what's this? Well, you're lucky today because Jamie's going to really accept this interview. You have a chance to go and meet her. The Wizard frickin' of Oz, are you kidding me? We're just people. That's what I love about service leadership. It breaks all of that down. It doesn't matter what you wear and what you drive and where you park. In fact, in my industry, the hospitality industry, when I visited a hotel and I saw a BMW or a Mercedes parked underneath the portico, I just started shaking my head. Arrogant, you know what. And the first thing I would say is, don't you think that's a great place to park for your guest? Yep. Then move it, because that's a great place to park for your guest. Not you, Mr. Mrs. Ego. Anyway, this is all I do. I impact with language, and influence behavior, and inspire relationships. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. What we say, how we say it, when we say it, the words we use, etc. And I've got a really neat little clip I want to show you if we have time at the end. How do we meet our needs and receive the needs of others? Part of how I grew as a man is I realized, you know what? I don't have all the answers. Who can help me? Who can assist me? Being vulnerable enough to say, I'm not sure I can do that, or I don't know that I know how, and then I ask for help, wow. Then I started to coach that way. Being really present in our interactions. There's, through the Aconcagua Business Partnership, which by the way, it's Aconcagua only because the people who started the group climbed the mountain and then it was a business partnership. But it's basically a partnership with a bunch of coaches. And I did a study with them after I looked up the #1 predictor of success is conscientiousness. I don't have that word mastered. Being conscientious is the number one predictor of success. Being kind and considerate. The number two in all of the people that we interviewed during our study was this, being present. Think about it. I don't know how old your kids are, but with mine, they know when you're not present. And they love it when you are. And not many are going to say, put the iPhone down, Dad. But they see you, and they're saying it with their body language. They're saying it with their love me, please, I. And just think for a second, if you could take how you want to be present with your spouse and your family and adopt it to your work. And I coach a lot of people who, oh yeah, I do that at home. Why are you a prick at work? Why are you know what, here? No one likes you. Well, that's their problem. Says the manager. The leader would show up within his integrity. You are who you are, at home and at work, period. So be present. This is so huge relative to language and behavior. We all know it's not what you say, how we say it, but you've got to be the same at work and home. We have this saying that we always use, and it says, how can I help you? I don't know. How can you? How about this one? How may I serve you? May I is a request. It leads to agreement. It leads to alignment. It leads to accountability. And if you say, I'm fine, thank you, that's okay. But help? Help kind of insinuates that I need help. Or Sarah, how can I help you? You look like you need help. Well, no, I don't, actually. But would she like to be served? I don't know. It's just a different question. Consider that, please. And this is big for me. Are you really listening? I mean, I'm getting my coaching credential right now, and there's a whole section on just listening. Are you present? And do you listen with your eyes too? It's really hard to listen to David when he's talking to me and I'm worrying about where I'm going to be in 45 minutes. You're really important to me, David. Keep on chatting. And I'm sorry, other than black and blue, what did you mention that's really? But I'm a leader, I'm a manager, I'm the biggest person in the company. I don't have to be present, says the old world. The service leadership model, I'm all over David to make sure he knows that I want to serve him. These are very basic things if you think about it. If you have any disagreement with your spouse and they say, I don't think you heard me, I don't believe you're listening. Has anyone heard that from their spouse or a partner at work? If you're present and you listen with your eyes, I don't think you'll hear that quite as much. The why, the core, the essence of self, we talked about that, the how, the language of what we, and the behavior, and what does it lead to? Why would we do this? Because you have more powerful relationships, which ultimately leads to more inspired performance by self and others. Lead by example. Great question over here by Matt asked for, lead by example. Does that mean doing something and people are watching me do it? Because I've come from the regional director ranks, now I can be a vice president of franchise development. No, it's how I speak, how I show up. It's when I show up, am I on time? Am I emotional? Am I present? That's leading by example. How do you enter a room? Oh, Jim's here. Or Jim's here.